Thank you so much for the applause. It's very encouraging. Thank you so much for joining us today. So actually, I would like to start from the end, Dawid. As I said, last but not least. So I know that you at McKinsey, you actually published a report recently, which is exactly about this topic. So how this new wave of digitization, so let's think AI, big data, automation, how it's going to affect the region, Central Eastern Europe, how it's going to help businesses here. So I just thought that maybe you would like to set a scene a little bit, give us a couple of takeaways from this report, so we know in which area we are operating in.
Sure. First of all, great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. There are so many distinguished guests here in this panel that I will obviously leave floor to my guest speakers and my colleagues here on the panel, but just to set the stage. And someone said that, coming from McKinsey, I would now throw like 5, 10, 50 numbers. I will not. I will avoid it. There is one number that is there that you cited, which is basically more than 50% of jobs will be replaced. And I think the way we see it is actually we take it as actually a challenge. It is a challenge for the region because I think we have now a couple of 100,000 jobs in Poland just in shared services. Right? So you can argue probably those are the type of jobs that will be threatened by Gen AI and automation. And there are also other repetitive jobs that we do. For example, we are also proud to have this very strong software development sector in Poland, but you could argue it's also, the basic software development will be also right now taken over by AI. However, I also see it as an amazing opportunity because I think it was mentioned earlier that we also have an amazing talent when it comes to algorithms and actually creating digital products. And I think if we can move from these repetitive jobs and actually free this talent pool that we have and move them up the value chain toward creating digital products, creating algorithms that will actually be automating, I think that is an amazing opportunity for the region. Given we don't have the brands, we often don't have the access to the global distribution channels. So it's also a major opportunity. So it's a challenge, but also an opportunity.
Perfect, thank you so much. Now I would like to ask Patrick and Valéry, you represent those huge multinational organizations. You are sort of, I don't want to say outsiders because that wouldn't be nice, but you come from abroad. You're looking at the region, you're looking at Poland with foreigners' eyes. When it comes to digitization, what are you seeing right now? Is this region ready? Is it ready to take up the opportunity Dawid has been talking about? If not, what are the challenges ahead of the region from your perspective? Okay, well, someone has to answer.
Okay, so dzień dobry. Very nice to be here. I just moved to Poland, to Warsaw, and I must say I'm totally amazed and inspired it's vibrant. I tell my friends back in Zurich that compared to Warsaw, Zurich is boring, and I really feel like that. I moved to the countryside. I have 5G. I was offered you can have fiber to your home. I'm using all these apps for public transport, for scooters, for everything, scanning a QR code when I go on public transport. It's amazing. Look at this conference. So the experience is very positive. And of course, if you look at the data, it's very evident that the region is in a huge acceleration progress, and that really will help. But what I find most interesting is, and what I believe will help the region to win, is that people want to move forward, right? They want to learn. The digital skills level is already high, including STEM education, female founders and everything, startup ecosystem, but everybody is hungry for more. And you don't see that in other countries that are maybe a little bit more advanced, but they feel no pain. So they are not hungry for this acceleration. And this mindset here, I think that is what will help the region win. And be self-confident and be bold.
I have a bit of the same opinion, I must say. So I'm just a year ahead of you in Warsaw, so a year and a half. I was coming from Asia, where I was based before. And I must say that my initial conclusion was that Poland and the region is somehow halfway between Western Europe and Asia. So I think it's very well positioned in terms of digitalization and digital ecosystem. First, it's an aging population, but we are much younger here than in the rest of Europe. 53% of people are below 39, when it's only 35% in the total of Europe. Then it's a very digitalized ecosystem. We have the number one in startups, more than 6,000 startups. I think in Poland, we are number one for unicorns in the region. So there is actually a very favorable ecosystem overall. We have the biggest number of parcel machines per capita in Poland. We have excellent logistics capability for indeed online sales. So to be honest, we consider at L'Oréal that Poland is one of the two tigers and digital tigers of the Europe geographic zone, together with Turkey. So that's really what I can see from Poland and the region after a year and a half.
Perfect, thank you very much. I mean, it's a very optimistic and shiny outlook, I would say. Jarek, you at Synerise, you've been providing tools needed for digitization. You've been working with many Polish and regional companies. Would you second that view? So, do you also see it in such, optimistic, from such optimistic perspective?
By the way, pleasure to be here. Of course, I try to be always optimistic. I think that the word we should, emphasize these times is definitely courage. Polish, engineers, Polish tech companies are amazing. I am already, trying to start the business from the Synerise perspective, United States. And to be honest, I'm super happy that we have such exceptional people here in that country. Of course, we have some legacy when you think about how we provide, the great solutions in terms of selling this solution and so on. But still, I am super optimistic what we can just deliver to the market, but also what we should achieve in the future. Of course, there is a lot of reason to invest in Poland. I think that intellectual capital here is a quite crucial thing also for our, country development. And when you see and when you try to observe revolution of artificial intelligence, is a super important time for us. We should be very precise what we would like to achieve. And to be honest with you, I am here I think so, 4th or 5th time. And I am quite sure that this is a good place. Here we will shape the future. Here we will predict the future. Here we will just decide about the investment of this country. And when I am trying, to develop my team, we have 200 people right now in the Synerise platform, serving, our solutions to almost 150 different countries with 500 million users in the end of the day. And they are all very ambitious people, and this, challenges you would like to, take right now is, not only, to sell the companies, not only to create successful startups in terms of the revenues and so on. We would like to show that the companies here could create exceptional intellectual property, which could be like the standard for the world. And this is super important to remember about that, because when you try to also understand the revolution which is happening right now, this revolution will be about intellect. And this is super important. It's not like that you should have a lot of money right now to create something valuable. You could have the 3, 4, 5 people, like the small team, to achieve amazing results because you create the best solution in the world. And when we try to even compete as a company right now in the global competitions, by the way, with the Google many times, with the Microsoft, with OpenAI, with NVIDIA, and so on, it is always about how you can just, would like to be part of this revolution. And what I really believe, we should not only service, to the other companies, to the big tech, to other, organization, but we should also create something which will be much more high valuable. And this is very important for us right now. But when you try to also compare Polish companies like mBank, Żabka, Carrefour here, CCC Group, and so on, and I'm trying to compare it right now to the United States companies because we are delivering some solutions there as well. Definitely those companies are amazing. The people, the middle management, the directors, like the level we would like to learn each day is incredible, And I think that we are addicted in Poland. We are addicted to getting new knowledge, and this is super important case, and this is super important value for all the people here. And I think that if we follow this path, if we invest a lot in the education to absorb this tech, but also to create this tech, this will be crucial for this region. So I am super happy. I am, of course, share the ideas with my friends. And really amazing that we have such specialists here in Poland. I am observing Google as well. This is like the crucial, to have like this mixture of the talents right now in Poland.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Paweł, would you agree with that? I mean, do you see that there is a potential that Polish companies not only uptake the digitization tools, not only, but also develop them and export them abroad?
Of course, yes. We have many of talents, and we have to remember that in this type of business, talents are very, very important because they create new knowledge, new volume. Yes. So. We have to also think about this change. That this change our life in a way which will be very deep, because this change our way of thinking, also our way of doing our life in society. So yes, if we talk about this first thing, yes, I think, and I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of talents which are able to make a new volume, and also we have to see in this process that this process will change everything. In fact.
Perfect. So, I mean, I feel that we're more or less at least the panelists are on the same page, that there's a lot of potential, a lot of talent in the region, but I mean, there must be some challenges here. It can't be that easy. So I would like to ask you, what do you think the main challenge is right now for the region, for the companies in the region, first to uptake all these new tools, all these new technologies, and second, create them, right? Like be those that actually develop them and create them under their own brands. Would you like to start?
Sure. I believe we are just seeing a new wave of innovation. Let's see digital as a tool, right? It needs to be for people. It needs to give people in the daily lives more value. It needs to help to reduce our traffic jams. It needs to help to have eco-friendly routes, right? Improve accessibility on many things, including correct information and education. And there, I think we are on a good track. But of course, a new era of innovation, talking about AI, also has challenges. And we need to find the right balance. And we should not go where some other countries go, they see it black or white. For me, it's not black or white. It has opportunities, many, and it has challenges, serious challenges. And we need to get the balance right. If we can do that and keep investing in the learning, I really want to build on this learning and the digital skills where this region has an open mindset and is investing and is hungry for more learning. That will really help, and we see amazing companies, so I would second that, starting with retail in Poland, that is very advanced.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yes, so I think indeed the ecosystem is very promising. It's a blend of big companies, national champions, fintech champions, also a lot of startups. We saw this morning Maron Mironjuk, L'Oréal invested 5 years ago in his startup, so it's great to see how big, a Polish entrepreneur can become, So great ecosystem. Then for me, there's two challenges. The first challenge, which is maybe more for Poland and the region, is indeed the skilling, the education, and therefore the education of the talents, the training of the talents, because there is low unemployment. So the fight for talent and the skilling of the people is the key. So I think great partnership with the great universities, but also each company need to do their own internal dramatic, intensive skilling, you know. So I think I see this as a challenge. It's not a limitation, it's a challenge. Then for me, there is a second challenge, which is not just for Poland and the region, is worldwide, is the green tech. You know, because today the 4% of the emissions of CO2 worldwide is due to the digital. Okay, and so it's the equivalent of the air traffic worldwide. And in 2-3 years, it will be 8%, which will be the equivalent of the car traffic worldwide. So I think, for example, in our company, we are already building in sustainability KPIs for the key pillars of our digital transformation. So the media, the content, the e-commerce, you know, so it's key also that all actors of the industry take this into account to combine tech and sustainability, because unsustainable tech is not going to be what we want. You know, so I see this as the main challenge.
Paweł, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, to say that many of people says that the storm is coming and the storm is called AI. And in fact, this is true. But for people who are on the ocean, the worst situation is the silent, not the storm. So the storm changed many of part of our life, but it's necessary. It's necessary to have better medicine, to have to collect the knowledge in a new way, in better way, to compare better information, and in fact we need it. There's only one way forward.
I can see one challenge, maybe not for the businesses, but for the societies, definitely. It's about the employment, right? Because according to the report that McKinsey published, more than a half of work activities in Poland could be replaced by some sort of automation by 2030. That's a lot. I mean, for me, that's really a lot. I mean, is the region ready for that? I mean, how can we get ready for that change? Dawid, Jarek, do you have a view?
Listen, I'm happy to comment. So again, given demography in Poland, it's actually might be a blessing for us, right? That we will be able to release that great talent we have actually from repetitive tasks and move it up the value chain, right? So I hope it's actually, I see it also in a positive way. If you talk about challenges, I tell you there are 2-3. So if you think about distinctive digital disruption, typically there are like 3 things. One, leadership. I think we need leaders who think bold. So I've been working with, over now 16 years with McKinsey, many companies, 20 countries. So I see sometimes in Poland we are very local in our ambition. So I see many countries where you have a leader who is global, and like, for example, Jarek in Synerise, they are thinking globally, right? Many companies in Poland, they are thinking Poland, because we are big enough, as opposed to many companies that I know in Czech Republic, Hungary, the smaller countries, when they know, or Estonia, or Lithuania, right? When they know immediately they need to go global. So I think it starts with the leadership and ambition. 2, I think it's also demography I mentioned, and 3, I think it's also this there is a generational shift happening in Poland, right? I have teenage daughters, and I see the generation. I mean, they are looking at us. We have been actually working here very hard for the last 20 years, and the question is, are they ready to also take this big, effort and make this big effort in all of the context and uncertainty and so on, right? So there's also a bit of a question about this like cultural change, generational change, whether there will be this ambition, right? I hope there will be. I'm positive, but that's the question. Yeah.
And Jarek, you have 1 minute left.
Oh my God. I try to do my best. Definitely is about the balance Patrick mentions. Everything is about the tactics and strategy right now, what we will follow in the future, how we create the frameworks for the education, for leveraging the amazing startups we already have. In terms of the automation and replacing, the manual task force and something like this, I am totally about that. I really believe that the AI revolution will deliver new work, new jobs, new opportunities, and so on. Because as a human beings, we should understand one thing which I am trying to emphasize all the time during such conferences. We are not so unique as we think we are. So this is super important and crucial to find the things when we can just develop ourselves and our civilization to think ahead and something like this. And nothing will be as same like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Everything will change right now. How we think about the families, how we think about the work, job, everything. And we need to just follow this direction and be completely calm about that. I think that we have the power to, to create and shape the future without the risk and trying, to rule that and manage that. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I believe we could talk for hours about this topic, but unfortunately the time is up. Thank you so much to you for sharing your expertise. Thank you so much for being here with us, and stay tuned for the next panel. Thanks.